Hi, Peter from Competenz, your baking specialist. Today, in honour of our English rugby team visitors, I will be making a cupcake decorated with the English rose. Firstly, today you'll be needing plain uniced cupcake, some icing, white, green and red, plastic scraper, icing sugar, some cutters, a little bit of water, and a nice plastic even surface for rolling on, rolling pin, and then just some apricot jam for our sticking of our icing together. This stage of our decorating of our cupcake, we'll be rolling out some white icing. Just lightly dust with icing sugar your surface and the top of your icing, and we will roll to approximately 2 millimeters thick. A nice round even surface. Already loosen it from the bottom of your board gently. I have here some apricot jam which I will use to coat our cupcake with to enable the icing to stick. Be very neat when you're coating this. All ready for the cutter. Place firmly on the board, cutting all the way through, releasing the icing, and ready for our top. And we place on like so and smooth it on with your hand, just like that. This stage of the cupcake, we're going to begin with our green coloured icing for our stem. I will roll off just a little piece of green icing just with your hands, get a nice point on it just to make it easy for yourselves, just on your hand, get a nice stem, get it even as possible and lay it flat on your board. With a little bit of water, just wet the surface that we want it to stick to on our icing for our cupcake. Trim it down slightly and place the stem on our cupcake like so. For the leaves, we will be doing 2. Roll it into a ball first. Once you have the ball, use the back of your hand to make it flat to approximately 2 millimeters thick. Keep it loose. I then have just a fluted cutter. You can bend your cutter to make a shape of a leaf, doing one half, then do the other half to create a leaf-like effect. And then we want a few lines in it, and also wet the area of your cupcake and lay the leaf appropriately on your cupcake like so. For this part of our English rose is the making of the rose. Soften up your red colouring, roll it into a hot dog, and we're doing a 5-petal rose today, so I need 5 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll into a ball and place onto your board. Just give it a little press down to get a start. Once you get to this stage and you have all 5 on your bench base, get a nice flexible plastic scraper and just push down on one half of your circle to make the start of your petals. I'm going to loosen my petals from the board with the back of my palette knife. And start with the biggest petal you have, and on one finger gently roll up to form the base and the center of your rose. Once we have completed that, we will start picking up and laying together with about half a centimeter apart, and laying them on your fingertip with the center, keeping it all in line to the top and moving around and covering it up the center of your rose in a roundward motion, getting all 4 petals as even as possible as we work our way around. Once we're at this stage, we can make the bulb of the rose by just rolling it in between your fingers, so you have this sort of effect. At this stage, the back of your finger, we just want to peel back a millimetre of the petal to all of the leaves and petals to make it look the real effect. Once I've finished that, with my thumb and forefinger I'll just pinch the tip of our leaves to give it that authentic rose look. And there we have our rose. We've reached the final stage of our English rose. We now have the petals and the stalk and our classic English rose. Gently wet the area you want your rose to sit, then grab a palette knife, put one finger behind the rose and just cut the bottom off gently so it sits on your palette knife, and place onto your cupcake without squashing the rose, and voila, we have our English rose cupcakes.